we're here now, excited to continue. Go ahead.
Hi, Viola. Last time I spoke with you, I was talking about worthiness. I was having a very wobbly week. I was very unsteady. Um, and something you said really excited me because explained that logically I got that I'm worthy, but that there was something, almost like there was something deep down that didn't get that I'm worthy. And what I remember you saying, whether you actually said it or not, I haven't had a chance to listen to the recording, was that if I am still feeling like that, then I haven't actually got it yet. I think I've got it logically, but I haven't got it yet, which was so exciting because I was like, oh my God, when I do get it and embody it, it's going to be amazing. And I completely get what you've been saying today about we need the question as much as the answer. And if we're talking percentages, I spent more of my life percentage in question than answer, and the answer has been more recent, which has been amazing. Um, but what I really wanted to know is, have you got any tips for me for what I need to do to really get it, that worthiness bit, to really, because a lot of the time I think I do get it, but from what you were saying last time, I thought, oh, well, maybe I don't.
Well, what we want to clarify for you is that sometimes you have it and sometimes you don't. When you're in a question, you don't really have it as much. When you're in the answer, you have it at all times. And your feeling of your wins feeling, so to speak, that winning feeling that you have when you do have it, when you feel worthy, when you feel like everyone around you is seeing it, that you are seeing it, that you want to shout it through the roofs. You're trying to compare question with you're trying to compare that feeling sometimes when you're in a question of why am I not having what I had at that time, and we want to bring to your attention, because of that question you get to experience it again. Because of the next question you get to experience it again. Because of next question you get to experience it again. It is not that you've gotten it and now it's there and now it's hanging from the wall that you can just look into it, or that you have it at all times. Because also, even if it was that worthiness hanging on the wall by you seeing it to be there, you would not always going to see it. You're going to change the room, you're going to go somewhere else. Your focus on focus dance is going to be happening regardless. So it's not that you did not get it. It is not that you do not get it. At that moment, you did not get it, because if at that moment you're feeling, you intellectually understand how it works, but you don't feel it now, that means that you've experienced it many times, so you know how it feels, and now you're not experiencing it. And we're saying at that moment, you are having a memory of something, of how it was supposed to be, but if you were to feel it, if you were to jump into that dance, into that wave, into that oscillation of that worthiness, you would not have a question, is it intellectually or is it really, or you would not try to make any comparison. You would just know, you would just feel that you're feeling worthy at that time. We want to talk more about this. Go ahead.
Well, that's brilliant. Thank you. So it's really interesting because, as I say, I was very unsteady, like horribly unsteady in the question, which I get. I need as much question as I do answer. But what was really interesting was, even though I was feeling really unsteady, some amazing things happened last week. And is that what's going on when you're saying like the question and answer happens at the same time? It's like,
And you are just changing the cursor of your attention to see the answer, or to see the question, or to see the answers to the question. You see these infinite possibilities of everything that exists that you have access to. Everything that exists about anything that you've ever desired, or anything that you can imagine that you want to desire. Everything that exists being every particle of the universe. Every particle of everything that exists you have access to when you're in that place of worthiness, or steady, or ease, or satisfaction, when you choose to be there. And then also, you do not want to just be there. You want to go in and out. You want to dance between question and answer. So oftentimes when there is even a lot of questions, some awesome answers may be seen if you find a way, and when you find a way to shift it up. In other words, it is not that you were predominantly having this horrific week, as you're saying, this horrible unsteadiness, because you would not be able to see any of those answers at that time. And that just confirms what we talked about earlier. You are never just in a question, as well as you're never just in an answer, regardless of how steady you may feel or how wobbly you may feel. You are at all times dancing between. So at this moment, you're worthy, and at this moment, downloading some amazing experiences and some amazing things are happening. And at the other time, you're asking the questions, so more of those amazing things can come up. In other words, trying to hold on to your feeling of steadiness and worthiness when you're not experiencing would mean, I want to run away from this question. I do not want to ask this question. And that's why I'm labeling it, it's my intellectual understanding and not my innate understanding. And we're trying to say, don't go there. Just stay in that place of celebrating the question. Now I'm creating. I'm asking the question. I feel slight discomfort. I feel that things are not there, but I'm not going to be hard on myself for that, because I know that without this part, I don't get to discover more steadiness. I don't get to discover more ease. I don't get to discover more of anything else. And then once I get to that place of steadiness and ease and worthiness, I know that on the other hand, we'll be opening the door for new questions. In other words, you want to really be more aware of this inevitable situation that you are at the moment, because at the moment of happening, the situation is inevitable. And in a way, not trying just to run away from it, or not trying just to run into the question where you had so much ease, or at the earliest stages of ease, or not running away immediately from the question just because other people might be showing some other wobble around it and you feel like you want to put the curtain over. It is just about you understanding what part of creation you're in at that moment. And this is really all it takes. All it takes for you is like, I feel discomfort having this conversation with you. I feel discomfort at the moment. I feel I'm observing variety, but I know that that makes me to make preferences. And by making preferences, even at this moment, wanting to feel more satisfaction, wanting to feel more ease, I know that the answer is already created. Now, it's just the time for me to go into the place using multiple tools that I have, using appreciation, using meditation, using anything that will unfocus me, physical exercise, whatever it is at that moment that you want. And that's how you get yourself to experience the ease. Not immediately to see that answer, but to get into the place of ease. And sometimes, why not? You can see exactly the answer for that question you've had moments after. Costa has just shared this amazing story on his Instagram platform, because first he wanted to practice on how to consciously speak. He gets a lot of confidence from seeing these interactions, but he also wanted to share everyday stories and things that inspire him. He wanted to document some of those because he wanted to bring more attention to those stories that are so satisfyingly talking about discovery. And so he went and he saw these people that he had not seen in some time, his dance partner with kids, and we will not say the whole story. You can go and see that in that area. But what we wanted to say is that there was this little girl, his friend's daughter, who had a very easy clarity when he asked her, what would you want Costa and Armand to bring you, to buy you for Christmas? And there was no doubt in her mind. She's done all of her clarifying through the questions before. She's probably spent time with her friends seeing it. Somebody has mentioned it. Maybe she's seen a commercial. She said it so clearly, so succinctly, with exactly what her desire was. She said, I want a Barbie doll house with a slide and an elevator. And conversation was over. There was no more talking about it. There was no more talking, when am I going to get it? Are you going to buy it? Can you buy it for me tomorrow? There was none of that. There was just this pure clarity from the question answer dance happening. With that question that Costa posed, she joined with a clear desire and just dropped that conversation. And Costa went on to order this thing, and he went to Amazon and he saw that the orders were backdated over there. In other words, that he would not get it until July 24th. And he said, but she had such a clear desire about this. I want to see other options. Then he Googled it and saw that Walmart was offering 2-day delivery. And he was so thrilled that in 2 days this will get there, that her mom will be able to wrap up all of these beautiful gifts, and that at that moment for the Christmas there will be this unwrapping of the presents that Costa loves when the kids are unwrapping presents. And in this beautiful joyful experience, he's received the notifications an hour after. So we're talking about Saturday night, and he got notification that instead of Monday, the delivery is gonna happen on Sunday. And he recognized this desire of this little girl to interact with this. And then the next morning he woke up to the message that it has already been delivered to their house. Probably around not even 12 hours after the order has been made. This girl with this easy desire, forgetting about it and stop asking questions about it, has received this gift at home. And Costa said to the friend, please make sure you hide it so she has a surprise for Christmas. So she has this whole experience. And then an hour later, the mom said that she just went randomly into garage and found the box and knew exactly what it is. And Costa, in a way, was stunned by this thrilling creation of this child that he was part of, because this amazing story that we're sharing with you is only to tell you that when you go and ask the question about something, you can find not only thrill about getting it, but you can find thrill about getting it so quickly. And then, like this brilliant creating girl, you can have not only one thrilling experience out of it, you can have multiple experiences. Her mother said that she found it, and then Costa said, well, that's okay, then let her just have it now and play with it. She does not have to wait until Christmas, of course. Then her mom said that this little girl said the most brilliant words that there ever existed. She said, I will try to forget because I want to be surprised for Christmas again. So there is this 5-year-old child understanding brilliance of creation process, expressing it with such clear desire, forget about the wanting, pressing, releasing the wanting. So she observed and chose, and at the moment of Costa asking questions, she expressed clear wanting and released it almost immediately, and therefore almost immediately received the experience that she wanted to have. And not only that, now she sees that she can have more satisfaction, and now she will go and forget about it and get surprised again for Christmas. So this is what we're recommending to you. You asked for a tip. Go and forget about your questions. Go and forget about them as quickly as you can, because then you will release this clear wanting that you have about it, and then it's going to come to you sooner.
And so I've got a bit of an issue there in my head, because I realised that part of it is my question is not wanting to have discomfort, and yet I'm also understanding that it's okay to have the discomfort.
We're not trying to get you to get comfortable with discomfort. That this conversation is never going in that direction. We just want you to know
from you.
There will be...
My question is the discomfort that I sometimes feel is so uncomfortable that I just don't want to feel it anymore.
And that is totally true, and that is totally valid, because you did not choose how long you want to stay there. And there is a big difference in you not experiencing it at all and catching that experience early and making decision to move on. That's why we said you asked for a tool. We said you ask questions for too long. You stay in the questions of thinking how it's gonna get, of thinking where it's gonna get from. Be like this little girl. Have a little bit of distraction or shiny thing. Costa talked to her about this Barbie doll house, and the next thing they were talking about tacos. So change the subject. Go into something different. In other words, while you cannot stop and you do not want to stop your variety that sometimes shows you to make preference and sometimes shows you a little bit of discomfort, you at all times choose how long you stay there by your own steadiness in your own question answer dance, and by your own, as our friend said, free will at the moment to stay there for not longer that you want. In other words, there is no benefit from you pushing through the question after question after question, or the same question over and over again, Because the moment you ask the question first time, the answer is created. Now you want to distract yourself from that place by changing the subject, by going somewhere else, by turning off your phone, by turning off your TV, by not talking to anyone for a moment, by taking a beautiful shower, by taking a walk, by understanding and allowing your thoughts to go in a different direction, redirecting them in a different direction, going to the pocket with a list of these beautiful things you know you can tune in at any given time. Is that watching kittens or little puppies, or watching the videos of dance, or listening to some beautiful music? In other words, you want to train. This is a trainable muscle. This trainable muscle of your attention is really where your true power lays.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Really, really excellent conversations today. We're excited for more. Go ahead.